Since I felt the space between us, things have come alive in me. Enchanted new perspective, seeing light in everything. Welcome to Slushbox's Taco Tuesday. Taking actions for creative ownership with Sharon and Mark of the Slushbox. We have a great show prepared for you today. Whatever day you happen to be watching this is okay. And actually, our preparations for this show are a little bit different. Our script is a bit more open because we trust the process that we've been together on our creative journey for 20 years in life and music. So we're going to trust that all that experience adds up to something and we can let it flow quite easily. And we encourage you to do the same thing. Bite into that creative ownership that you are an expert in what you're here to share with everyone. So tonight we have a juggler by trade. He's been a juggler for some decades and performed at the Colorado Renaissance Festival as a mainstay for over 10 years. He has his own enterprise called aheartfeltproduction.com, where he helps people to tell stories through video. And he's an expert at this craft. He has an upcoming book and multimedia show coming up. And we might get a moment to talk even about synthesizers with him. But for today, we're going to be bringing on a wonderful guest. We were privy to see this gentleman perform an exclusive April Fool's Day show on April 1st, 2020. And it was really sweet. He was offering his own philosophies and adding a lot of levity to April Fool's Day 2020. It's going to be one to go down in the books. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Mr. Miles Eddy, the father of Sebastian. There he is. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, y'all.
We welcome you. What is this axe of something? What is that totem?
Well, you know, my stage character name is Sebastian, right? So it's Sebastian Miles, and my given name is Miles Eddy. So this is the staff I got when I was working out at the Renaissance Festival. If you can see the carving there, and the long beard. And so this is kind of my jester's persona thing. So this is Sebastian on a stick. Stick. Oh no, I don't hear you. I can't hear you.
He hear us. He doesn't hear us. Welcome. What we were just saying, you know, you're on a stick. Hopefully not char grilled.
Sebastian on a stick.
Oh, yeah, I love that. How do you do that with your voice too? You have quite a range there. Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Yes. You know, this is where we talk about taking actions for creative ownership. And man, I know you've got something coming up this week to tell our viewers about and to share, like, who the hell is Sebastian?
Yeah, let's get that started.
Where did Sebastian come from?
Where did Sebastian come from? Well, that is a very good question. Back when I was like, 20 or so, I was in college getting my degree in computer science. A friend learned to juggle and came back and taught his friends, including me, to juggle, and just picked it up really quick and really loved it. And about that same time, I discovered the Colorado Renaissance Festival. went
Mm-hmm.
down there and just decided I was going to be a juggler at the Renaissance Festival the next year. And I auditioned with a really awful show, but they don't pay local payment, so you get what you pay for, right? But part of the getting prepared for it is they say, okay, I was also a street character, so you have this whole character analysis, and came up with this whole story about Sebastian. And he was the peasant juggler. My character started out as the peasant juggler because
Mm-hmm.
the real reason I chose a peasant character instead of like a royal character is because peasants have a lot more fun out there.
Oh, I like that. Peasants
But
have a
that
lot
was
more
this
fun.
whole story about Sebastian and Edward and some stuff I shared at the April. And when I was kind of coming up with the attributes of Sebastian, I took all the characters about that I liked, all that funny, good stuff, and I just kind of put it into this nice innocent jester type character.
Yeah.
And 10 years later at the Renaissance Festival, I had a pretty good show that I was able to go out and do largely at nursing homes. Once I broke out of the Renaissance Festival a little bit, I was juggling mainly at nursing homes.
That must have been quite an amazing thing to do. What a form of entertainment, and what an audience to bring your light to.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why I chose the nursing homes is it just it felt a little more heartfelt. It felt a little more needed, and
Yeah.
and I did the city festivals, and I've got all sorts of stories of places that I've juggled and whatnot. But I did a lot of nursing homes, and it was very rewarding in a lot of ways. They just really needed out there. Okay.
Hello? Are we still there?
Obviously, we're having
Okay, yeah.
interesting.
We're still here.
Interesting, cozy
Yeah.
conversation here at the fog rolls in.
We're out on a dock in Long Beach, sitting just about on the water, and security guards all over the place. So we're trying to hide because we really like it here, and we're talking to you, Miles. So yeah. So what you have something coming up soon, right? Let's hear about what you got coming up.
Well, today's Tuesday and Thursday, so day after tomorrow.
Okay.
With the whole coronavirus and the social distancing and all of that, I do live performance. I mean, like you all. I mean, as artists and entertainers,
Mm-hmm.
we depend on having a live audience. But the whole world is trying to figure out how we do this virtually now.
Yeah.
And so just a few days before April Fool's Day, I said, well, it's April Fool's Day. It's my day, right, as the Juggling Jester. And so I did the show, which I was really, really enjoyed you guys coming in. We got a great picture with you guys wearing your jester hats and everything.
Oh,
That was such a blast.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was.
But I wanted, I kind of decided that, well, what can I do virtually that would help in this, time that everybody is having to do everything virtually and be social enough. And I decided I could do my show, and
Yeah.
it worked out really well for doing it virtually. And I asked that everybody turn their video on and have their audio on and meet my audience, because it might be virtual, but it's still live. So I don't provide my show after, I don't provide a replay for it. You have to be there live. And Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is what, 4 p.m. your time?
Pacific, yes.
This Thursday, April 30th, and gave myself a little bit more time to prepare for it.
Great.
I'm just going to set up at my friend's place with a higher ceiling, because you probably remember how low that ceiling was. Now
Well, if you could do it there, you can do it anywhere.
Do it anyway, yeah.
One thing that was so great when you did that is, I had never participated in an interactive jester juggling performance. And when you told us all, keep the mics up and pin your video so we could just see you, and it really was like we were there at some Renaissance festival or some, I don't know, some ancient village somewhere,
watching
Jester.
or kind of watching a really fun, hilarious movie
It really
with a bunch of other people. It was really fun.
Yeah, and if you put it in gallery mode, you kind of watch everybody else too. And I recorded the gallery mode, so I was able to kind of go back and watch people. And I'm also a videographer, but it's hard to be the subject in front of the camera at the same time as being the videographer. And so I really have not done much videotaping of the show.
Wow.
But being able to watch you all, because I was able to record it through Zoom, and being able to watch you all and what you reacted to, I mean, really, made me feel like I'm doing something that really is important, and people really do need this, and it is kind of my superpower to be a professional fool, So,
That is a superpower. It really is a superpower.
Could we get a taste of what you do? A little something.
A little taste, yeah.
A little flavor of Sebastian.
A little
Maybe like
flavor of Sebastian.
30 seconds or something.
Do that. I have to put the hat on.
It's in the other bag.
So let's see. I'm going to assume there's not a lot of kids here. So, the Renaissance Festival will get a little body, but I want to talk a little bit about the history of the cap and bells. And I used to have bells on here, but there's a story about why I don't have bells on there. But the cap and bells actually represent the ears of the mule, and it's called a coxcomb. And like the center here is like the rooster, crowing, and so there's that. And the whole introduction I do with the show is I talk about the role of the Renaissance jester with the king. The king being the center of government, the creator of law, which meant that the jester was inherently a political position because he advised the king, and he was one of the most important of all of the advisors of the king. Because he could say anything he wanted to, and the king had to make decisions based on information. And you want to see some juggling, right?
yeah, because we're gonna
maybe 10 minutes left.
We got about 10 minutes left.
We could actually do a little part 2, but we really want to get it.
Yeah, let's see what you got there.
Come to the show, and I'll tell the rest of that story.
And we're gonna pin your video right now, just so people definitely will see you.
Okay, good.
You're pinned.
A pin. Ah!
One on the shoulder, one on the knee.
All right, now I'm going to show you a little bit of my warm-up. Now, my warm-up is one of the hardest tricks that I do, and it means that I'm not going to be able to do this because it's a warm-up. There's a couple advantages to this. 5-ball juggling.
5-ball juggling.
Woohoo!
Okay, and the reason it's a warm-up is because I get to do a lot of that, right? So this is the hard trick, okay? But
wow.
The basics are the 3 balls and the 3-ball shower.
Yeah.
And in the show, I break this down a little bit, and I talk about, how to learn to juggle, because it really helps to have a little instruction.
You're so fast.
With the 4-ball juggling, let's see, I can't look at the balls in my camera, so I'm not sure what you're doing, but my first trick, I lost it. Okay, I'm back to 3 balls, and I've lost all my other balls. Under the couch. All right. So anyway, there's just a little bit of the actual juggling.
Wow.
So
cool.
I hope that wet your whistle there a little bit, and
totally.
Oh,
yes.
I love the hat. Yeah, there we go. You brought your jester hat.
Yeah, we did.
Because
I can't put mine on right now, or I would. I'm sorry.
Well, and one of the things that I'm kind of moving into with this whole jester character, because it's not just about entertainment. I mean, it's about playing the role of the jester with the king was really important because it gave the king a different perspective. And I want to bring that into the modern day and our current situations and be able to, give people a different way of looking at stuff. because laughter is very, very powerful. And there's so much conflict in the world right now. And being able to add a little levity to it gives us an opportunity to kind of open up the line, the communication with others, and to be able to allow ourselves to feel a little foolish and a little insecure and a little vulnerable, and be able to share that in a playful way. And
That's wonderful.
It's so important right now because
You're so right.
yeah.
When we're in this space together right now, it makes me feel like much like April Fool's Day. It's like this enchanting little place, and when I see like us with these hats on, it's just like I really feel like we're back in some time where you really were doing what you were doing, and the people were just like, oh, like looking at things differently. The people were enjoying like the enchantment of what you were doing, and even the way that you wake people up. You know, you might wake them up like, I said, do this or that. You know, it's so.
You mean like this? 3
Yes.
cheers! Hip hip! Hooray!
Hey!
Hooray!
Yeah.
Woo!
But
Yeah.
it's so. Where else can one experience something so beautiful? This is one of a kind.
It's really great.
We're really looking forward to a lot more of Sebastian on the planet.
More Sebastians.
You got an opportunity to do it worldwide. You're not limited just to a Renaissance festival with those people right there in front of you. As beautiful as that was, I'm sure. Now, man, anyone from anywhere can tune into your show.
Well, that's true, and that's really different for me. And
It opens up the palette.
you know, because this kind of, I mean, we talked a little bit. We might even talk about synthesizers. So, you know, I want to introduce this because we talked about maybe doing another interview later on. And
Yes,
talk more about music. And I want to introduce that subject with the dream I had in college with doing a full production of an immersive multimedia show with music and juggling and dancing and poetry and, you know, just bringing the people together, all surrounded by an inspirational message. And for reasons that are kind of the subject of my book, I never pursued that dream, but here I am so many years later looking at how can I realize that dream? How, you know, is that something that I need to do? Is that something that the world needs me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Hip hip hooray! Yes!
So,
Yes!
because it's not my show, it's our show. Because without you, I don't have much of a show, do I?
Likewise.
You know what they call a juggling show without an audience?
What?
They call it practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're at this place in all of our lives that we've had that time. We've put that time in. We're doing these big shows, and that's what's so beautiful. You said a multimedia show, and with these characters, and you have this whole synthesizer background. I mean, that is epic.
It's amazing.
That is epic.
It's so cool.
It needs to come to fruition, and this is our time. This is our time.
Yeah, so making that happen and being able to reach and connect with folks like you and, you know, what you're doing and bringing us creative artistic types together and giving us space and giving us permission. And I think that's part of that energy with the Jester.
Yes.
Is it yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's beautiful.
yeah, our internet is still kind of choking up here, but
Yeah.
I do want to give people the URLs. What I'm asking,
Please do. Let's do that right now.
yeah, since this is live entertainment, I am asking people to RSVP. And the URL is pretty simple. It's just aheartfeltproduction.com, which is my DBA. That's my branding. aheartfeltproduction.com/RSVP.
Heartfelt production.
A heartfelt production.
Heartfelt production.
Right.
And we will put that
.com
in the links and comments.
/RSVP.
Right. Correct. Yes. Yes. Oh, we're looking so forward to it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So at April Fool's, I did about 35 minutes of my show, but it's I have an hour show with it. I'll probably go a little short with that and try to get people to interact with me after the fact too. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Wow. Are you working on anything to maybe in the future, maybe after the month of April, to tell any kings on the planet? We're going to continue this conversation in a few months.
Yeah, we will.
Or whenever you want to reveal. I want to know what news the jester wants to tell.
What's the question? We're in all this training to be entrepreneurs, right? And
Yes.
find out what our real, X factor is as it's called in training. And, what are we here to do in this world? And I think that part of my message, I think a lot of my message for me is that being able to acknowledge this vulnerability we have, this fear of feeling foolish, of looking foolish in society, and being able to find a way to have the courage to get beyond that based on our compassion for others, based on the fact that we know we have these talents that we can give to others, or we can use for others, or we can create a business for others. And we don't. I mean, so many of our creative artistic types, like me, we have a real hard time asking for the money. And after decades of having all of this, stuff I wanted to share with people, I realized that if I don't know how to ask for the money, if I can't make a living doing what it is that I have to give, I can't help anybody. Yeah. And so part of my message is to learn to use your vulnerabilities to get past that fear, and use your compassion for others as motivation to get past that fear, to go out there and do it anyway.
Yeah,
and if you can make a living doing it, great. So
yeah, beautiful. You just made me think of something like an analogy or something that's people can't do right now. They might go to those lands of the mouse, on the planet, and now they can't because we're on quarantine. The entertainment place people go, they pay a lot of money for that, right? So why could they charge? I mean, that does that entity need to make a lot of money? Well, maybe keep it going, but there's not an interaction there, right? There's no one saying, engaging the audience there. It's like, sit here, wait in line, do that, and look at the top dollar people pay. So I know to bring out new innovations to the world, this is worth a lot of money. This is worth a lot, the levity of it all, the life of it all. We don't have to be dusted, you don't have to do maintenance. We just, what I'm saying? Like, it's just thinking of it related to the big entertainment industry. Look at what you have.
Yeah, and I think more and more, people don't want to just consume entertainment. They want to get some value out of it, that they can then, feel like they've connected with something greater than just going and sitting there being entertained, spending $50 or whatever, and walking away. And it's like, how do we do that? And I think that's another role of the jester is to get you thinking, to get you motivated, and finding your own path to connect with people, because we all want to be a part of something greater than ourselves.
Yes.
And being able to recognize the foolishness in us and all of that shadow self part of us, is really hard, because so much we get into, we get out in public and we put on our face, we put on our mask. And we all do it. I do it. And another thing that I've kind of discovered is, and this was true for the Renaissance Festival. I mean, I was a real geeky, introverted kind of guy. It's hard to believe that I'm an introvert, but I am.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Right. Yeah, we believe that. But it's true. Especially back in my 20s when I was getting my degree in computer science. And I'd get out to the Renaissance Festival and I would put on a costume, I'd put on a name, I'd put on an act, and everybody knew it was an act. They knew I was an entertainer. And it was very empowering, because I was able to do all sorts of crazy things and grovel at people's feet and, you know,
Aw.
run around screaming, and they're going, oh,
Yeah.
the fool.
Aw. Well, that
So,
is
yeah.
wonderful. And you know, our little magical mystery tour location has requested that we leave. So you know, it's like
I think we've been.
quarantine, curfews,
I think we've been busted.
yeah. So
Busted.
it's all good,
Social
you know.
distancing.
I can't wait for our next visit with you, Miles. It's going to be really great. And why don't you say about what you're doing in the next couple of days here again one more time?
Well, I'm getting ready to
Thursday.
do a juggling show, 7 p.m. Eastern time, this Thursday, day after tomorrow from this live recording, April 30th, and RSVP at aheartfeltproduction.com/RSVP.
Perfect.
And
Thank you
I'll
so
practice my 5-ball juggling. And
Yeah.
Me too.
You can do it, and everyone, I happen to know that I think he juggles dangerous kitchen items too.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, okay. This is your cue. You know what to do. You are referring to the razor
Sharp.
Oh wait,
studies. Ooh, all right, that was pathetic. All right, let's do it again.
Razor sharp
machetes.
Ooh,
We want to let everyone in on that in 2 days,
2 days.
or look for the
All right.
juggling jester.
You better
Cool.
get out of there before they give you a ticket.
Yeah, we're gonna do
When
that.
do you feel
So
foolish about that? You know, interviewing a fool, getting a ticket for it.
we're interviewing full and outlaws out past curfew quarantine time, and we're just saying that, ladies and gentlemen of everywhere, it's time for us to have our creative moments. Everyone,
Definitely.
bring out, let some levity out, let some of the real you that you've always wanted.
Yeah.
Get your magic, paint your totem poles, sticks, wear the weird jewelry that you used to save just for special occasions, bring out the stuffed animals, whatever it is, let your magic out. Let it out on the page, dance it around while you're inside. No one has to watch, you can just do it.
Let the fool out.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Nurture your inner fool to inspire wisdom in the world.
Yay.
Yes, and look for Sebastian to help you inspire yourself even more.
Oh, they
Sebastian.
inspire me. I just do what I do, and you know that's why it's an interactive show, because you know you guys are entertaining me. I mean, look at you guys.
Oh, we didn't know
What the heck
that.
are we doing? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because being a professional fool, it means people pay me to go to their parties, right? And so I get paid to go to everybody's party. And
Wow, that's some pretty clever.
Fooling around.
Yeah.
fool around,
it is.
yeah.
Oh my
Want to
gosh.
fool around? All right, one more joke here. You know, when I juggle knives, that makes me a bleeding fool, right?
A bleeding
Ooh,
fool.
a bleeding fool. When I juggle
Yeah.
fire, I'm a flaming fool. But
Oh,
here, we can
yeah.
do this virtually. Being here, you know, and
There's
with you
more.
such great people and such great hearts, I would just prefer to be a fool over you.
No. All right. Well, thank you so much, Miles.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for being on our show, Taco Tuesday, where we're talking about creative, artistic processes and the like. So we're really glad you were able to jump on with us, and glad we made this work out.
Yeah.
So-
Well, you know, I really love what you're all doing, and you know, we really need to support each other creatively.
Amen, brother.
Thank you
Amen.
for claiming your calling, man. You're going all the way.
All the way.
All right.
Take good care.
Take good
All
care.
right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Everyone for now.
Bye.
This has been Taco Tuesday, taking actions for creative ownership.
Woo.
What actions do you want to take? Hello.
Thank
Okay.
you for tuning in.
Yeah, we're going to take a moment to just be a little quieter as we unwind.
On the
Get
docks
ready
of
to
Long
close
Beach.
the set down.
On the the docks of Long Beach.
Fog's rolling in.
I think there's a seal out there.
We have fended off the authorities.
Right, they can't see us.
Ooh. But I see us. On location. While we still can. And we'll keep doing it.
Maybe we should give them.
Yeah.
Give them the.
No.
You don't want to show
Okay.
them.
No.
You don't show them.
There it is.
There it is. See the light tower right here.
Ooh, here.
Yeah.
Wasn't that
Didn't work out so
beautiful?
well, but,
Sebastian is just an amazing spirit that Miles Eddy brings out. Isn't that awesome?
It's very awesome.
Oh, we're closing it down. I'm starting it up again. Okay. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Happy taking actions for your creative ownership, and we'll see you next time.
Yay.